Just today, climate envoy John Kerry is in China after a year hiatus, talking to that country about climate initiatives. What do you hope to see come out of these conversations?
Well, he testified before my committee, and I had a very cordial exchange. I said, "Look, I understand. Everybody wants to protect the planet, but they also want fairness. China, under the Paris Accords, not only is extended to 2030, well beyond our requirements, but because they can self-designate themselves as a developing nation, then they say we can't comply until the year 2060." Now, my constituents and most American people know fairness. And to hold America to a different set of standards than China is not fair, in my view or theirs. But particularly to hold them to a 2060 standard when they call themselves a developing nation. But the fact is, Leanne, they're not a developing nation.
Mhm.
They're the second largest economy in the world. They're a superpower economically. And yet they call themselves a developing nation to get the benefits of not having to comply with the Paris Accords. And I just don't think that's fair. And I asked Secretary to please bring this issue up. We voted a measure out of the House almost unanimously, calling for the administration to to not designate or undesignate, if you will, China from being a developing nation. What this also means, Leanne, is it qualifies them for low interest, if not zero interest, loans from the World Bank because they're a developing nation. Then through this funds their Belt and Road Initiative that they then invest in truly developing nations at a high debt rate with their own workers and exploit the rare earth minerals, usually take over a port. And if they go into debt, these developing nations, then the IMF will bail them out, which is again funded by majority, the U.S. taxpayer. This is really a manipulation of the United Nations institutions, our global institutions, and I think that practice needs to end. And I think the American people and elected officials up here are getting more educated on this issue.